Hello, everyone. This is Shelby Tuck Horton, Vice President of Education. It gives me so much joy today, so much joy to present to you all for today's webinar, my friend, Master Wedding Planner, Jacqueline Vazquez. I told Jackie that I was just going to do a welcome and a very friendly intro, and I'm going to let her tell you all about her because she wears many hats and she is just an amazing entrepreneur and mentor. So I am going to be quiet and I am going to turn this over to Jacqueline. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you, thank you. And I feel like I'm just right home. Hey, Veronica, I definitely feel like I'm home. ABC is my home and family for years and years of connection. So when you asked me, Shelby, and you were like, oh, it's a last minute, I was like, let's do this, right? Because it's family, and no matter how it turns out, it'll be received with love, and I'm sure that many of you may take away one thing or another. So the goal is our mental wellness, right? So let me just bring up and I will share a little bit about me in a few minutes, but I want to share my screen a bit. And where am I? Here we go. All right. Everyone, thumbs up, Shelby. You can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So not sure if a few of you, I don't think I've shared this a lot, um, but trees to me represent life, right? And I open up with this before I even introduce who I am and everything, because this is the essence of everything that I'm going to share with you. And I wanted to make sure that I started off not just giving you words, not just giving you a cheat sheet or this is what this is, here are the 5 C's. I want to really start by honing in on you looking at this tree, you looking at this person like you're just there and you're walking towards this tree, this amazing, beautiful scenery that you can find anywhere, really, because what are we surrounded by when we walk out? Usually, for the most part, is trees, right? Whether it's one tree here or there, or you have a forest, or you're out there and you have palm trees. I see someone here from Puerto Rico. So, um, whatever it is, I know that you've seen and you've connected with a tree. At some point or another, you've looked at it, you've hugged it. I'm not sure. I'm not a tree hugger, but I'm a tree lover. So I'm not a nature girl. That's why I don't hug a tree. But with that, I want you to put yourself in this place that this person is going towards this tree, this beautiful scenery, this peaceful scenery. And self-care starts with that, with you just pausing and you just taking a look and an understanding of, let me just take a moment for me, right? And I'm not sure, and I'm going to give you some opportunities to interact with me in the chat. And I'll ask a few questions of how many of you, embrace a tree like I will share that I do. And taking this moment as I just keep this up just one more minute, it's just really, I want you to breathe. Let's just close our eyes for just a quick sec and just listen to my voice. I want you to just breathe. I'm not a uh, media, I can't even say the word right now because God just gave me the words, right? I don't share with people how to meditate. I don't teach meditation. We breathe normally because God gave us that glory. We breathe on our own. And I just want you to breathe regular. And when you open your eyes, when I say open them, I want you to look at that tree again and just give yourself a moment to reflect at where you're at this moment. at this time with the holidays coming in? And how much are you taking care of yourself? How much are you allowing yourself to take care of yourself? And these are things that I'm going to just talk about. And again, this is very interactive because I'm that type of person that I want to hear from you. So now open your eyes and take that quick moment. Not sure if you have a busy schedule. I'm sure you do. I don't know how crazy your day is or how crazy it's going to be or how busy it's going to be, but just remember this moment right now. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the 5 C's of self-care. Now, I'm not an expert on self-care, but through life, just like many of you, I've heard what self-care is about. And what I do want to see is if you want to raise your hand and say, hey, Jackie, yeah, I've heard it, but it's so difficult. Like I'm raising my hand because I know self care is very difficult. So if you want to raise your hand and say, it is difficult, oh my gosh, right? And it's not easy sometimes. Sometimes we're doing self care for others self-care and wellness, right? So we're going to go over that in a bit. Again, before I even share who I am and what I do, I want to share the essence of my connection with why trees are important to me and why am I a tree lover. And this is a poem. To me, it's a poem, a writing, call it what it is, but I wrote it for a session a few years ago for a session I was doing for some girls for an organization. And I just started writing and I wanted the girls to understand what a tree represented to me. And I want to share it. I figure I wanted to share it with you. So my tree shows who I am, not who others want me to be. My tree shows my uniqueness, not what others may expect of me. My tree shares my kindness. It allows others to see. My tree radiates happiness, sacrifice, strength. It allows others to understand my experience. My tree highlights my values, which intertwines with the world and is deeply rooted with transparency, patience, unity, and love. That is my tree. That is, if you think about a tree, the resilience of a tree when there's a storm, a hurricane, when the seasons change, the changes that it goes through, the challenges with weather, the challenges with people, right? People doing different things that they want a tree to do, right? Grabbing some branches instead of waiting for it to fall if it needs to fall, right? But pulling on a branch because they just want to take it home, right? So it's the same ideas that I really interpret into my life. When people start tugging at you and pulling you in so many different directions, when people expect you to change your leaf, like I actually heard from someone who said, oh, I went to New York and the leaves didn't change yet and it should have changed. I said, well, the weather has been different this year and we haven't had that moment to have those leaves change color because it's still warm. And then the week after, the weather starts getting colder and the leaves are changing. The colors are just shouting out, I'm here. So I want you to take this piece with you because I feel like opening up with this, hopefully you take something out of it that allows you to walk out of your house or your work or wherever you are today and see a tree and see how it speaks to you, and look at different trees. So this is me. This is me. I'm Jacqueline Vazquez. I'm really sure that I know 90% of everyone here, or I've connected with 90% of everyone here. Um, and what I wanted to share about me, I thought there was going to be a bio somewhere. So I am not going to read you my full bio because you can find that and I can share where you can find that. But I am a multifaceted entrepreneur. What does that mean? I found out that I am more than just a planner. And I'm sure that many of you here are that. I am more than just a planner. So when I realized this, it allowed more space in my wellness to kind of sink in because I was focused on just a planner perspective and mentality day in and day out. But when I figured that wait, I do so many different things. And then how do I put everything together, right? To allow people to understand, hey, I'm not just a planner. So when you speak to me in this multifaceted way that I'm first a person, but I am multi-branded and multifaceted. My years in the event and wedding industry has been 25 plus years. In a short bio, I can say I'm a two-time best-selling author, I'm a speaker, mentor, I've spoken in 12 countries. The list goes on, and it's not that I don't love to share what I do, but I really want to get to this self-care conversation. So what I would ask you is at the end, just write down my website and it'll take you directly to who I am and what I do. I do host three platforms that helps, the intention is to help those who are looking to achieve transformation in three independent ways. And you'll see that when you go to my website. And it's education, emotional wellness, and execution. And it's not execution in a bad way. Okay, I'm gonna bring a little humor because that's who I am. But it's not execution, it's of course wedding planning, event planning. So executing events. And I'm married to, and many of you know him, but I'm married to a huge supporter of my mental wellness. When I was putting this together, I was like, you know what? Yes, he is amazing. Yes, he's wonderful, et cetera, et cetera. But he is a huge supporter of my mental wellness, of the work that I do, not just in planning, but everything that I do. And I love to travel, dance. Coffee is my jam. I do binge, and I am a Prosecco, Moscato, and Riesling girl. So just in case you see me the next time, that is what I drink. Okay, a quick disclaimer. I am not a certified coach, psychologist, counselor, therapist, or a medical professional, but I speak from years' experience. And again, I know I'm not the only one here with tons of experience, and I'm sure many of you can share your own journeys and stories with regards to the challenges that you've probably gone through maybe once, maybe twice, maybe millions of times throughout your journey when it comes to your emotional wellness and your mental wellness as well. So there's 5 C's of self-care. You're going to see this picture twice, and I'm going to tell you why in the next slide. So the 5 C's that I'm going to discuss, and I'm not going to go heavy on it. It's going to be very light because this conversation, again, I'm going to ask you a few questions to put in the chat, your replies. And then I also want to leave space for just a Q&A or just a conversation afterwards. So I'm going to talk about compassion. That is a huge one. Connection, coping, control, and clarity. And what do these 5 things have to do with self-care, especially your self-care? I need you to hear that it's your self-care, not anybody else's, okay? So compassion, and here I use the same picture. The reason I use it on twice is because, it really represented something to me as far as what self-care means. It's just those hands really holding something very gently, right? And very carefully and very nurturing. And compassion is just that as well. So I wanted to keep it because I'm like, you know what? This speaks to me to compassion. And I hope it speaks to you as well. And what is compassion? First, I want to say, what is compassion for you, right? I I want you to understand what does it mean to you, right? Treating yourself with kindness. And I want you to let me just open up my chat here. I want you to kind of put in the chat, yes, I knew that, or I didn't know that, or I struggle with it, right? So while I'm reading, I want you to put that in the chat. You know, it's treating yourself with kindness, empathy, understanding, and forgiveness. Okay. And it's, you know, be kinder to yourself and stop criticizing yourself. Do you find yourself that you're criticizing yourself like a few times? Yeah, I see a few people that say they struggle, right? It's not easy because sometimes we wither away, we're working, 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 and we're like, why did I do that? No, let me truly understand why I did that. Instead of like getting so defensive with yourself or saying, oh, I should have done this better, right? Treat yourself with kindness and the empathy. Oh my goodness. Just the empathy alone really highlights the true essence of compassion as well. And understanding and forgiveness. Oh my gosh. Can you tell me in the chat if you forgive yourself for the many things that you've tripped on or done or things like that, that you blame yourself? I know I have. And it's one thing after another until you find the space and the platform and the resources. As someone said, Laura says, oh my God, I've tried. I'm still trying to forgive myself. My journey with forgiveness took about 30, 35 years. It took a very long time for me. And I'm sure many of us can list our top three struggles, right? Our top three things that we haven't forgiven ourselves for. And it takes time because it's not easy. Why is it not easy? Because we're not taught how to take care of ourselves, how to take care of our mental wellness, how to say, it's okay if you did that wrong. It's okay. You know, we're taught, don't make a mistake, don't make a mistake, don't make a mistake. Or if you do this, you're this. Or if you don't do this, you're this. Or you can be put in this category, right? So really try to treat yourself, do a reversal, pause, have a full understanding of how can I treat myself kinder? How could I speak to myself where I'm loving myself? No matter if I screwed up this or that, or I did the wrong thing or sent the wrong email, like we need to understand that we need to take care of ourselves. And that starts with treating ourselves kind, forgiving the things that we feel like we need forgiveness for, that we are blaming ourselves for maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 or more, or even if it was yesterday. That stays with us. And sometimes when we keep certain traumas or certain things that are holding us, if you struggle with holding that, sometimes it doesn't allow us to move forward, to get to that next level that we know we can reach. Right? So being kinder to ourselves, stop criticizing ourselves, reminding yourself that you are human and we're not perfect, even though we planners are A-type personalities. So, you know you are, yes, true. You are human. Okay. Foster a healthy relationship with yourself. Now, here's another big one. For others, compassion for others, treating others the way you would like to be treated by creating tangible expressions of love. Let me repeat that. Having compassion for others, treating others the way you would like to be treated by creating a tangible expression of love. Having empathy for others. What does that mean? That means sometimes you have to allow yourself to see and hear people's pain so that you can kind of relate, not to fully understand and be in their shoes, but understand what they're going through. And doing that in silence sometimes. That is showing empathy, right? No judgment zone. This is a big one because we tend to sometimes, I mean, it's not easy to not do it sometimes. I'm putting myself in the box for that. But I've learned along the way that there are certain things that happen for a reason. And if somebody approached me a certain way, maybe they're having a bad day, maybe they just lost somebody, or maybe they're just like that. And each of those 3 bullet points have different ways of how to proceed. So it's understanding that first, that before you work with others, connect with others, communicate with others, that you are really taking a step back before you reply, whether it's in person or a phone call or an email. You know how those emails be going through when you're like so upset and they're just going through? Pause yourself and show love in your actions. And what I'm going to share in a few of the pieces is, a few of the slides is a few practices so that you can take a few things with you so that you can do this on your own. Practice self-kindness instead of self-criticism. So I want you to really challenge yourself with that, right? Start today. Don't put it off for tomorrow. Do something today that you are practicing self-kindness for yourself. Place your hand. Let's do this right now, even if I can't see everyone right now. But place your hand on your heart, and I want you to say to yourself, I will be kind to myself. And we're going to repeat that twice. I will be kind to myself. And now the third time, I want you to add your name first and then say it. Jackie, you will be kind to yourself. And then just take a moment. And then I will be kind to others. Jackie, you're going to be kind to others. I will be kind to others. Use these practice and see how it changes a little bit of your perspective. Again, it's not going to happen overnight, but a start, that's something important. If you start today, if you start after this particular webinar, then at least you've done something. And recognize that everyone makes mistakes and that it's okay not to be perfect. Okay. Now, connection. Oh, I can speak about connection 365 days of the year. Like, I feel like God made me a connector on purpose. Um, you know, I'll share more later where you can find everything related to me in reference to my journey. But my purpose, one of my purpose is connection and connecting genuinely with others. And connections, here is where I want you to ask yourself a few questions. Are you truly nurturing relationships with others and feeling a sense of belonging with them? Like, truly, ask yourself, are you truly building those relationships with a sense of wanting to belong purposely? Or are you just joining the group just to join the group? Or just to be in the in group? So I want you to also, after that, ask yourself, what are your intentions in building that relationship? Because guess what? Not every single connection may align with your core values. And again, that takes you back to self-care. So you have to be really intentional when it comes to building relationships. Why do you want to build a relationship with this person, or with this professional, or with this family member? Why is it important to you? What is the alignment? What is the purpose? And what are the values that are incorporated in that? Okay. And then practice. Take a moment to think about the personal and professional connections you have. Do they align with your interests, value, and purpose in life? Okay. So just for a quick, let's say, reply, if you were to answer this right now, what would you say? Do you say yes, 100%, or 80%, or 40%, or 0% aligned with me? And when you see this picture here, this is truly my essence. This is truly who I am. Yes, I'm a hugger, but it's more than that. This picture defines like the love that I have for these beautiful people that I'm hugging. These are two professionals from two different countries that we came together in one place. And it was more than just, oh, let me connect with Gabby because she's in Mexico and she's a beautiful designer, an amazing designer. Or let me connect with Bele because she's in Salvador and, I want to do destinations. More than just why you want to connect on a business level, do they truly align with you? Do they truly connect? Like I have this strong feeling that God connects you like naturally. He connects you with people naturally. And that's how I have made my place and foundation in connection. I'm led to seeing what's the highlight in everyone, right? What makes that person special? And then how do they align with my values? Again, not everybody does, but you have a better understanding once you allow yourself to see whether they align or not, and what is the value of that connection. And thank you for sharing. We got 85%, 80% aligned, maybe. Okay, Veronica, I see that maybe. 65, thank you all for being transparent. 65, 70, 75, thank you. Because when we understand that, when I am not 100% aligned with every single person I come into contact. So it's like sometimes you just got to acknowledge that. And sometimes those people will not remain in your life for a long time. I meet people in groups at different time frames, and they are not in my life forever. And so I don't look at that. I don't look at a person and say, oh, you're going to be, I love you, you're going to be in my life forever. There's a purpose why they came into my life today, and God will show me. And so I just want you to kind of say that to yourself, write those questions now. And Latanya said, reason, season, lifetime is my, oh, that is, I love that motto. I'm going to steal that from you. That is exactly what I just finished saying. That is the motto in writing that I feel that I walk and lead. So thank you for sharing that. And coping. Oof. We discussed earlier, you know, the things that we go through in our journey, right? And what does coping mean to you and your self-care, right? Are you finding it hard to develop healthy ways to manage your stress, challenges, and difficult emotions? Or are you just trying to avoid them? I need to put a shout out here to the Event Therapy Network. Charissa, she is like To me, I love her. She has this amazing, amazing network. Like when I see her, I need to run to her to hug her because my heart just connects when she speaks. And she is oh my gosh, I don't want to butcher her title, but she is certified. She is, I call her legit. Like she is your go-to person. So if you ever need a resource or someone, go to the event therapy network. It's just, to me, it's been such an amazing space. And I find 100% value in what she does and what she created. Um, and if you're challenged with trying to find, these healthy ways, she's one person I would say go reach out. And if you were at ABC conference and you were not in that lounge space that she created, I know I was. I saw maybe a few people, but I would have loved to see a whole lot more. That is, and Veronica, I need to put a shout out that should be in every single conference. That's just my thoughts. Okay. But are you just avoiding? So just write in the chat really quick. Do you find yourself having those healthy ways to deal and manage with them, or do you avoid? Oh, we're working on it. um, and then the practice is identify the activities that allow you to cope. It could be journaling, it could be taking a walk. Taking a walk is like, oof. And taking a walk by the beach, that is like my energy fuel. Exercise or seeking professional support. And then ask yourself these questions. Have you discovered a way of setting boundaries? And boundaries has a lot to do with how you cope through these difficult challenges. Boundaries, a whole different conversation. We could be here for days talking about boundaries. Or you could tune into my podcast, but but I talk about boundaries like left to right. And I can honestly share that 5 years, 6 years now is when I found how to set my boundaries accordingly, aligned to my core values. And I don't look back. And the quick tidbit that I'll share here is that when you identify and say yes to your boundaries, you're understanding that it's based on your expectations, not others. And when you understand that, that brings clarity. Okay. Um, okay, my garden gives me balance, love journaling. I write and sit by the water. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And then are you making choices that support your well-being? So thinking about all of these pieces is important. Now, this is one other extra practice. Just 5 minutes. That's all it takes. You can do an hour, you can do 2 hours, you could do a whole day. But if you don't find time, make 5 minutes. Add it to your calendar. 5 minutes, whether it's in the morning, in the midday, or in the evening, 5 minutes. Because the benefits of giving yourself a timeout for 5 minutes helps reduce stress because you're pausing. You're literally pausing, stopping, whether you close your eyes, whether you take a walk, whatever it is, it boosts your focus. It kind of shifts and it kind of makes you come back a little bit more refreshed, right? But you need to find the space that allows you to make sure you have these benefits, because if you are working from home and there's a lot of things going on at home, or if you're working in a company and there's a lot of things happening there, you need to do this 5 minutes in a very private space. All right. It improves your mood, and a list of things and activities. Like I said, deep breathing, mindful gratitude to yourself, stretching, walking, changing your scenery, and setting at least one intention for when you come out of this 5-minute self-care moment? Control. Oof. I've been there where there's two roads and it's like, okay, am I being tugged and going one way because some other people are telling me, or am I really considering all of the decisions and the things that are in front of me that align with how I should move, right? So what does it mean to you to have full control of your life? And then drop in the chat, what percentage do you feel you have control of your life? Is somebody else making the decisions for you? And is that really causing an issue with the alignment with your self-care? How much control do others have for you? And it doesn't mean that it's a forceful control that somebody has over you. It's a control where you're doing so many other things. It could be situations, taking care of family, concentrated on the work. What has your control? Thank you for sharing. 75, 80. I'd like to think I'm in full control. Thank you for sharing that, Laura. Thank you, Veronica, 60%. And the practice for this is review your goals, right? And ask yourself, are they realistic? Consider making choices that align with your values and focus on what you can influence rather than what you cannot. Okay, let's see what else we have here. 70. Okay, great. Clarity. Hey, how is your self-awareness? How self-aware are you of your surroundings, of how you're feeling, of how people treat you? How self-aware are you? Sometimes people might be treating you in certain ways that it's depleting your energy without you even knowing. It's just in the actions. And because it's day to day or from event to event, you're not seeing it because you're just focused on one other thing or two other things that is keeping you away from that self-awareness. Do you allow yourself time to understand your thoughts and your emotions? Whether it's an illness that came, surgery that you have to have, either you or your family member got sick, your child got sick. What is pulling you away from that clarity, from that self-awareness? Do you understand the emotions that come with every single thing? And what are those thoughts that are going through your head, and how are they directing you in a direction that doesn't align with your self-care? And have you identified your values and your goals? So I would love to hear and see how many of you have set values and core values, a list of core values and your goals. And it doesn't have to be goals for 2026 goals or 2027, just goals in general. Okay, awesome. And so I'm going to ask you another question, working on 2026. Awesome. So I'm going to ask you another question in a little bit, but for now, I'm going to say activities. Practice for this is activities, meditate, identify your stressors, and create a list of your core values and goals. So if you can answer this, if you created your list of core values, have you listed them anywhere publicly? Your website, or is it just privately for yourself? And the reason I say this is because as you're answering, Mine have always been private until last year. Last year, I saw a revelation that was like, in order for me to keep my peace, I need to share this publicly. And so my core values are in every platform that I have, every website that I have. And it was done purposely because it added to my mental well being. And it just allowed me to release it into the universe, into the world, so that I felt like I was in control of my core values 3000%. And so this you will find in my websites. My core values are my foundation, which is God in everything that I do. The impact that I have, having faith and truly believing in what I cannot see, that brings impact to me. Giving back, connecting with young girls to reinforce the reality that yes, you can is not a myth. Uniqueness, I aim to walk in my purpose, my unique purpose. Therefore understanding my UQI, which is my unique quality identifier, helps define my purpose. Respect. I respect myself, therefore I expect the same respect from those who connect with me. That is what community is about. Education, I am an advocate, a fearless advocate for education, no matter what. Goals just don't become a reality by chance. It requires work, and that starts with knowledge. Social responsibility, being a resource for women struggling in any of these three areas: entrepreneurship, faith, or infertility. This is on every single website that I have. And I also have this. I love taking me time, including time for my wellness plus time. Sorry, got distracted there. I love taking time, me time, including time for my wellness, plus time with my husband, traveling, dancing, and enjoying each day to the fullest. Laughter is a part of my everyday life, whether I've lost someone in my life or I'm not feeling well, some kind of laughter comes out of my day. And that is part of my wellness. Let's see. Yes, I posted clear on my website privately. So I challenge you, outside of knowing what your core values, your true core values are, I challenge you to share them. Because when you do, when you take that deep breath, you're like, whoo. And then I'll point people to my website. Be like, yeah, my core values are on my website. You can see them right there. And it's just a sense of relief. For me, that's what it gives me. So going back to the tree, there is sometimes we have days that are like this, that are dark, gray. We're frustrated, we're challenged, we're sick, we just feel like we're being pulled in so many directions. And not until we clarify what self-care really means for us, we won't see the other side of this. And before I show you the other side, I want you to put in perspective and say it to yourself for this moment. What do you value? For me, I value my sanity, my soul, my energy, and my purpose. This is the essence of my energy and who I am. This is important to me. So if you wanted to share, if you don't want to, that's fine. But if you wanted to share, what do you value? What is one word? You don't have to share 4 or 5 or 3. What is one word that you would say, I value my, put it in the chat. family, peace, energy, integrity, faith. Thank you for sharing. Self, peace. Thank you for sharing. And when you get to that other side of understanding your value, what self-care really means to you, this is what you see on the other side. So I challenge you to change the perspective from going from that gray and dark times that we will go through challenges, no matter what. That's not going to go away. But by creating proper self-care, healthy ways for you to take care of yourself, allowing you to take the time for yourself for self-care, holding on to either an image like this or an image that allows you to see the perspective that you can do this. You need to do this for your sense of well-being, whether you've been a planner for a year or an event professional for a year or 10 years or 25 years, 30, etc. You need to do this for yourself so that you can be better for others. And so asking yourself this question, how are you going to honor your 5 C's? Just a few little tidbits that I'll share. Set your boundaries, practice gratitude, focus on your progress, not perfection. Embrace what makes you unique. Accept yourself, including your flaws and your strengths. Sometimes we just concentrate on what we've done great, our strengths, but also accept your flaws. Celebrate the smallest achievements. Practice mindfulness, journal, rest, challenge negative self-talk. Challenge it. I challenge you to do that. And last but not least, practice self-compassion, self-love, self-awareness, and self-care. Oops. Sorry. Okay. So that is it. That is who I am. My website, I didn't type it up, but I'll put it in the chat. Now, this website here is my home, and I call it my home. One second. Catalyst Bridge Agency.com. I call it my home because I felt like I was pulled in so many directions and I couldn't clarify what or where I was going, I was doing. And I was like, I had 3 different websites because I had my planning website and I had my speaker and education website, and I had created probably like 3 years now a website for women's wellness. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. And so I needed a home to direct people to just go there. And so when you go there, you're going to see 3 different buckets where it's like, if you want planning, this is where you go. If you want execution, right? If you want education, this is where you go. And if you want wellness, then this is where you go. And it just gave me a breath of fresh air. And it actually added to my self-care because it allowed me to focus on one thing, sending people to my home, and then they can choose how they want to work with me or connect with me or reach out to me, right? And it doesn't mean that if I get a potential client, I'm going to send them there. But at least if I'm just having a general conversation, that is where I send people. But if I have a potential client, yeah, they go to my planning website. And then they can find me in any other platforms as well. If you scan this, this is basically going to allow you to sign up if you are not there already for the newsletter that I call kind of like a letter, not so much a newsletter. And I send it out monthly and I share some tidbits, kind of like what I shared today. And it's maybe a great platform and space for you to get some more resources and just encouragement or tips or inspiration to add to your self-care. So if you can scan that, and I don't know if we have any questions, or I think I finished before one. Yay.
We have a few minutes. If anybody has any questions, they can put them into the chat. We have maybe another 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Okay, if there's no questions, Jackie, I really appreciate you being here. You're our last speaker for 2025. You're ending our series at educational webinar series. And I couldn't think of a better topic and a better speaker to end our year on. We've had a full year of 2 webinars every month for education and 2 webinars every month for travel. And I've been pretty excited about that. When Veronica tasked me with doing webinars twice a month, I thought she was absolutely insane. But I'm not ever going to say no to Veronica when she wants me to do something for our members. So we tried it, we like it, and we'll see you in 2026. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Jackie. You are amazing. And thank you for all of you who have been joining us every week, every webinar. I really appreciate you seeing you here, and I'm wishing you all a wonderful holiday season. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Bye. Happy
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 holidays.
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 holiday.
Love you, Miss Lois. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye. See you
Mikhail.
later.
Bye, Miss
Bye.
O.
Bye.
Bye, Jay.